And the bottom left in the red here, trying to find his way into the top 4 of a GSL for the first time this year. It's hero. And the upper right in the blue, looking for the, well, just the comeback, really. It's TY. So TY back for the military, and TY, I think, very, very publicly said in his winner's interview, after he went and after he, made his way out of the round of 16 of the GSL, he went and said, yeah, I'm kind of surprised at my performance here. I haven't been able to hit 5,800 MMR on ladder. Which, for you or I or anyone else, that is, that's really powerful. That is a very, 5,800 is pretty high, but for someone competing in the GSL, that is a very, very different setup. You expect pretty much anyone, with a fighting shot to hit top 4 to be north of 6,000, maybe 6,200, maybe even higher. So the fact that TY can find his way out of the round of 16 while not really able to find that much success on ladder really says a lot about his series planning and his understanding of how to play the game. Oh, man, I love it when I get Discord pings. And it's all like, because I'm worried that something's gone wrong, and it generally is just like, oh, some other Discord pops at here, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. That's not all that useful, but what is useful is taking a look at this build coming out of TY. It was not a Reaper expand, it was a reactor first into the factory. So this unlocks a couple different ideas. First of all, you get the reactor, right? You get Marines, that's your defensive ability. It actually means that any sort of adept pressure, for the most part, isn't going to be all that great, because by the time the adepts, they shade across, you're going to have 4, 6 Marines, you're kind of fine. What it also means is that your production is much faster. You're going to be able to get that factory quicker. You're really not, because you want that reactor anyways, right? So you're not going to be, by not committing to the Reaper, everything that you spend the gas on gets sped up by about 50 gas, which is, what is that, like 10 seconds, something like that? Regardless, you get sped up a little bit. And that means you can get your factory faster. That means you can get your starport faster. And, well, generally that turns into a drop of some sort. Widowmine drop is kind of the ideal. Sometimes we see Hellion drops, but it doesn't really seem like TY is thinking about going for that one in this game. But hero is the full scout. He just circles the main base, and the Marines are slow. They're not going to be able to knock it down. So for now, tank on the way here. So actually, is this gonna... There's no way this is tank pressure, right? I mean, this is a very... Actually, this might be. This is a very early tank coming out of TY at this point. And there's no tech lab on the barracks just yet. It's just reactoring at Marines 2 at a time. And starports on the... Or medevacs are on the way. So, yeah. Seems like we're going to get a bit of Marine tank pressure early finding his way in on the map, coming in from TY. I'm curious to see how well this one's going to work here. Widowmine's behind, which are a solid option. But hero is well aware of what's happening here on this 1-1-1. He's got a robo. He's got an immortal on the way. He had the read. So one tank done, boosted across. And yeah, hero, perfect scouting here. So he sees the timing on the medevac. Knows exactly what's happening. And this is a bit awkward to do on altitude. Altitude has such a long natural to natural rest distance that it really does feel rough. But TY, this is kind of an old school idea, actually. You get early units, you get the tank, you get the Marines, and you just try to siege up the cyber core. You siege up the Reaper cliff. But there's a bunker with this here. Now the Stalkers try to get on top. That bunker dead immediately. Immortal Stalkers, that's a dead tank here as well. This is not going to work for TY. It's an interesting idea, and I liked it. I really did. Now there's a recall into the main. Stalkers here, they can put pressure on the medevac. The Widowmine falls. This is just not working. This is just not working at all. So an attempt to drop back into the main. He's going to try. TY just desperately wants to find some value, and it's just not available in the medevac. Oh, very low here. So hero could do other things. He could counter it. He could take a third base. No, he's got a War Prism on the way. He's going for the counterattack. I mean, he does have the third base on the way now. He is getting that Twilight. But this Warp Prism is going to be a thorn in TY's side quite quickly. Now, there's a Liberator in the natural, and hero is, you know, somewhat slow on the pull, so that's going to be actually 3-4 dead probes. That's more than we expect to see. Was there... Did the drop go down? Oh, it wasn't really pressuring with the drop in the main, so that's just kind of 4 free probes. Very nice there. Coming out of TY. It's still not enough. I mean, he's still... Well, actually, you know what? As I say that, he's on 47 workers. So too is hero. So hero did cut workers a little bit here. His third base is a lot slower. The economy is pretty solid for TY. Big deal though is his stim it's going to be done on that 7:30 timing, not something just a little bit faster. So now we get to see how much damage. Wait. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. We got storm drops on the way. 2 High Templar in a Warp Prism. The storm is going to get chronoed out here. It's going to be done in 45 seconds, something like that. And I'm going to assume this is a storm drop. Yeah, Warp Prism on the other side. There's a world where you just put your High Templar on the Warp Prism immediately because you don't want the Terran to find it. It's like, okay, you know, there's a Warp Prism with the army. That's useful. That's expected. But, High Templar, though, that would be a little weird, but even still, no. Stim 2/3 of the way done here. Warp Prism ready. Hero's just gonna try to style on him. This is a little bit gross. This is not quite fair, but anyways, storm done in 20 seconds. Stim done now. Charge done in 10. Everything timing out here to make sure that hero has everything he needs to make the defense happen, and just dodging the scan there. So TY has no idea this is High Templars. He didn't scan. He didn't see anything. And now here comes the storm drop on top of it all. He gets only 5, actually. Only 6. Not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Anti-armor missile lands on top of hero units. Widow Mines onto the third here. Hero slow on the pull. He's going to lose oh so very much. That's actually 6. And into the natural hero. Do you have the pull here? Hero? Ah! He loses 15. Seems like his storm drop, you know, got a couple more workers. Actually, Archon got a couple more workers. At the end of the day, they kind of trade. 15 dead probes, 13 dead workers. The missile turret gets a little low here, but it's the drop in the main base that we have to be very careful of. It's going to be a full recall army here. That's going to be, what was that, a dead gateway, I think? And TY's getting a lot of damage. But, oh, no! It only gets 1 worker, though. That's fine. These Widow Mine drops from TY. Just hero a little bit too distracted by the own micro that he wants to find. So, at the end of the day, you know, we're going to be okay. At the end of the day here, it really, more than anything, just kind of equalizes. And hero, of course, has his third base. TY has a third command center. It's not an orbital yet. He hasn't run it across. And now... Hero's army is up pretty significantly. Up 15 army supply. He's got +1. That's 4 immortals. It's an Archon. He's got storms in the Warp Prism. And TY is going for a bit of a counterattack. He's just giving up the natural. He understands that he can't hold against this army, not the situation that he's in. And that's going to be 1 Widow Mine that goes off. Second one, though, sitting there. And now, let's see if hero is going to be able to break this. Now, do we have any detection on this army? Now, importantly, no blink. So you can't blink outside of the warp. You can't blink out of the Widow Mines. They're just going to find their value. So that's a problem. And TY finds his way into the natural, finds his way into the third. We're full on base trade here. This is fun, but its first move is advantage from hero into the main base already on top of the reinforcing line. Immortals will not survive. And still, again, storms there in the Warp Prism. 1 was used, but there's more there than that. And most importantly, where are our SCVs? I think they're all in the main. 26. Yeah, most of the SCVs from TY are in the main base. A decent amount, actually. Found their way out for hero with this Widow Mine. Oh, it's not going to be ready in time. So TY is going to lose almost all of his SCVs. Hero got a lot of them out, and that's kind of the big equalizer there. Now you got to target that command centers down. This one's not burning. That was actually Stalker in the Warp Prism. Okay, got to make that one burn. And these SCVs need to die. These SCVs need to die. But they're not going to. Not just yet. In fact, hero seems to have forgotten about them. That's a little awkward. The probes in the main base also recalled out onto the third, where right before the Nexus dies, but they're going to find their way on out here. So what are we looking at? Command Center gets remade, but TY has lost all of his command centers. Hero's got his base on the other side. 28 workers to 28 somehow, but I think these are all in the main. No one has any money, so that's a bit awkward, right? You lose anything, and you lose any structure, you cannot rebuild it. And TY, this is not Age of Empires. You can't go and mass build structures. They're trying to give it the hug of life, and it's really not working out all that well. But now drop onto the other side here, shadowed by this warp prism. And the probe now going to take this El Naga here. That's important. Yeah, you know, it's a little rough. You don't want to lose a probe like that, but now you know where TY's army is, and that is a incredibly important thing. His probes now, they're just spreading across the map. Realistically, well, probes need a mine. Probes need a mine. Probes need a mine. But for now, Storm on the army is enough. But actually, Storm on the probes as well. That's a little bit awkward. I mean, heroes should still win this game. 100% should still win this game. But storming your own probes and pulling them to fight when you really didn't have to is not a recipe for success. The Storm, that actually should do it. TY only one medevac left. He is very dead in this game now. And that is feeling rather rough here. TY, you know, he's got a command center. He's technically got production. It's not going to work. Not at all here. The army's going to get pulled in. There's an Immortal. There's Stalkers. TY, fun idea, but TY is dead in this game. That was cool, but even still. Storm drops from Hero. All the craziness. Hero takes game one. Pay no attention to the scoreline on the transition. This is, in fact, a 1-0 lead for the Protoss. And his opponent in the bottom right in the blue. He's down a map. It's TY. In the upper left, up one. Storm drops were his friend that game. It's Hero. So where do we go here in game two? That's the really big question. Hero, again, you know, up one, looking really solid. But that was a game I don't think we're going to see it again. I really don't. You know, like, storm drops, crazy marine tank openers, like late game Widowmine or 7-minute Widowmine drops that kill 20 workers. I mean, they're just not... That's not how you play. And yeah, for this game, I mean, Gressfon's a big map, so it makes sense that you open just about as standard as possible. And that's what Hero and TY are doing. You know, Gate expand, Hero, TY, Reaper expand, or... did he open Reaper expand? No, Marine expand again. Okay, actually. So he is going to kind of be cheap on the gas, but this time, it's not a reactor expand. I mean, it is. He's going to get a reactor afterwards, but he will get that factory quicker. And that does mean that, again, maybe we're going to see something a little more factory focused. I mean, yeah, technically he got a tank, but that wasn't kind of the focus of the production for a lot of that early game. Not really. So now, factory most of the way done here. Reactor mostly done. And this feels like Hellions, actually, which is going to be interesting. Yeah, okay, this is Hellion drops. This makes sense based on what we're seeing out of TY. So SCV on the map, we should see a factory drop down right, or excuse me, a starport drop down right now. Hellion's going to get reactored out here. And this is going to be hard for Hero to scout. Now, he will see the reactor, right? If he does look high ground, he will see the reactor on the factory. And that is a tell. Okay, reactor on the factory is a little weird. But that by itself doesn't quite tell Hero that this is going to be Hellion drops. And certainly doesn't tell him that this is going to be proxied starport Hellion drops, which again hit a little bit faster, they hit a little bit harder. But Hero's just scouting on the map anyways, and he's going to see it. Okay, he finds the starport. That's really nice for hero now. That means he can start to respond, but still, this is a Twilight opening. There's no Stargate here. It's only a single gateway. Yeah, there's another one on the way. Blink is, halfway done. It is hard for the Protoss to defend against this, even with the fact that they've scouted it. Because really what you want is oh, I like this from TY. Really what you want are Phoenix. You want to be able to lift one, you want to be able to lift two, remove any sort of one-shot potential, and go from there. But TY is just, it's a bait and switch. He knows he's scouted, so he dives into the natural. There's no wall here. 5 workers go down. Make it even more than that. Make it 6. Although that being said, these Hellions will die, and they're gonna get saved back into the main base they go, but it's 2-shot potential now. It takes a little longer to kill off the probes, looking for the lineup. Doesn't find it. Probes, though, get pulled off the line, and now it's 3 shots. So 7 workers go down. Pretty solid for TY, given the fact that he was scouted, but at the end of the day, not totally incredible. Especially as, we've all done this, but especially as he decides to sacrifice a couple SCVs for the cause. Oh man, that's the worst feeling. You're macroing, you're setting you're moving your rally points around, and then all of a sudden you're just like, well, okay, I've set my rally points for my hatcheries or my Nexi or my command centers on the other side of the map, and I'm just giving my opponent a couple workers. And that really, especially he only got 7 workers, which is, decent but not incredible. Getting a couple more, just losing a couple SCVs like that is really makes TY a little sad, especially as the Stalkers find their way in. It's just 4 Stalkers. They have Blink, and they're just one-shotting workers as well as they can. And eventually, tank sieges up, and they're going to be forced out. Oh, a hero messes up a little bit there. Loses a Stalker. Loses all these Adepts. He tried to multi-prong. He tried to get fancy. And he was just not able to be fancy at all. So now, hero lost 7 probes. Only up 1 worker at the moment. Okay, this is nice. Those Stalkers, they're going to find the starport, and I don't think that escapes. That really should, that should start to burn. Yeah, Stalker's bonus damage to armor means that this is a dead starport. And TY just doesn't have the tech to properly respond to it. Now, Vikings on the other side are going to actually force a recall there of the Stalkers, I guess, these were the Stalkers that were playing a little bit aggressive, and the starport's dead. Yeah, War Prism gives the vision, so starport starts to burn. Viking gets a couple probes, not a ton, but it does pull hero off the map. And that's the big thing. Pulling hero off the map means he can't be as aggressive as he would like, can't establish quite as much tempo as he would like, and TY behind this is playing very, very greedy, playing very Grussfon, as I think the way we want to talk about it, as he's got his third base done, 6 minutes in. I mean, this is not how Terrans are normally playing, but with the tanks here ready and with the damage he got and with this bunker on the high ground, I mean, yeah, technically this is 4-gate blink, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. Here's a couple Stalkers blink forward, but for them to truly break this, you're going to have to buy time for the blink to come off cooldown. Once again, Marines thinking about sallying forward, and their blink is a ways away, or their stim is a ways away. I kind of like this from hero, actually. He's just got Stalkers kind of holding position in the main, thinking about bringing Stalkers to the natural, but there's a bunker here, there's a tank, there's missile turrets. This is just not good at all. TY is locked down more than anyone. And this makes sense, right? TY, back in the heydays when TY was one of the, if not the best Terran player in the world, he was the one that figured out how to beat 4-gate blink back on like Yansu. Back on maps where it just felt impossible. Where he just... And the funny thing is, on that story, actually, that was a Reddit post that said, well, why don't Terran players go, and why don't they put a sensor tower in the main base? As this stem out here will force these Stalkers back. Why don't they put a sensor tower in the main so they can know where their Stalkers are, so they can kind of deal with that rotation? And everyone was saying, no, it's too expensive, it's too dumb. And then TY did it, and he smashed parting in a GSL game, and it turned out that actually kind of was the solution for the time. But for now, third base under pretty heavy threat, actually, of these Stalkers. I thought they were going to be forced back, but Stim wasn't quite done. Now it is. It's Ice Storm, charge. Both tools now available in Hero's Toolbox. Let's see what he can do with this. 2 High Templar in a War Prism. Storm drops once again. Let's see how this one works. 4 storms available, 2 in a warp prism, 2 just on the map here. And we might just see hero go for the full frontal attack with his warp prism, just drop storms on top instead of kind of go for the economic storm drop. But I do not like hero attacking into this with the tanks in the Sim City. Well, that is rough, but this is nice. And with the army on the map like that, storm number 1 is going to kind of whiff. Liberator siege up. You don't attack into this hero. He's going to drop storms. They're going to whiff here. And the Liberator is oh so powerful. Warp Prism gets the, well, Warp Prism dies to the missile turrets. That wasn't great. That was pretty crap for hero, actually. That's not what you want. That hero does have, he's gone on public record and said this, that he's kind of got this issue where you give him an option, he is going to be aggressive 100% of the time. Like he has an illness, and aggression, something only aggression will satisfy. But attacking into a turtled up TY just does not. That seems so hard. Again, talking about the TY of old, brings to mind TY versus Parting on Death Aura. There was this game in the GSL. I think it was actually a GSL that TY ended up winning, where TY took heavy damage from Parting early on. I think it was actually off of blink timing, and it was on Death Aura, which effectively you had 4 bases for free. There were very kind of few attack openings. And TY just built a lot of tanks and turtled up like hell. He won the game in 30 minutes. And it was just... Parting kept... And actually, that was the game where I think we first kind of really started to see the charge lot blink DT composition. But Parting just sacrificed army after army after army, and it didn't work. And these Zealots, they find their way in somehow, despite everything, but it's not going to work out. EMPs, that's a good storm, though. That's a great storm out of hero. He gets 8 workers, gets a lot of the army, and the EMPs don't really land all that well, actually. That was nice, you know? TY's economy brought back down to earth just a little bit as he adds more barracks. He's on... Where is the barracks? He's on 5, so going up to 8 racks as he's got his 4th base. But hero does want to break this. I mean, hero does not want to allow TY to just slowly expand and take the map. Eventually, it becomes pretty hard for the Protoss player. So now blinks in, gets a couple stalkers here. Tank's not sieged, but the missile turret is actually so nice. There's the storm, though. Not a second one. You're kind of lacking that one for the time being. There we go. That's a little bit better. The slim timing, where there is no planetary, where there is the tanks weren't siege, that is probably gone. But if we're going to talk about aggressive players, of course, hero, probably the most aggressive Protoss, bar none. If I'm going to say who's the most aggressive pro in general, I don't know, actually. Bjorn springs to mind. Hero springs to mind. Dark for Zerg, maybe, springs to mind of, like, the top tier. Bly, obviously, is the most aggressive Zerg, but probably Bjorn or Hero. Probably Bjorn or Hero. I think in terms of players who have, like, wanton aggression baked into their DNA a little bit more, nah, it's not Clem. Because Clem will almost, like, you look at Clem's TVZ. Clem will kind of get himself set up into the mid game before he starts getting aggressive. Like, he will 9 games out of 10 he'll go 3 base Hellion Banshee. Like, you'll see that happen all the time. Probably 9 games out of 10 against Zerg, for example. So I don't think that's enough wanton aggression for, like, he's got a lot of momentum, certainly, but I wouldn't classify that as now EMPs on this army. We have extended thermal lance, though, so 10 range instead of 9. That does make this a little bit harder, but TY again is well sieged up here. And it's hard for hero to break this. So this drop from the left side from TY, 3 medevacs, but, well, not 3 medevacs worth of bio. Gonna run forward, get a pylon, get a shield battery. Not much more than that, but they do force a recall. And that does slow down this pressure from hero. So hero understands that TY is gonna go and... Ooh, nice EMP there. That was an interesting idea. So it looks like it was an attempted storm run by from hero from the low ground to the high ground, but EMP knocks down the observer, so there's no high ground vision, so hero can't storm it. That's pretty cool. And I guess, yeah, Haas might be like the most reasonable example, but Haas, I wouldn't put him at the high. I wouldn't put him at the highest level. You know, I guess when I'm thinking about like who's the most aggressive player, I'm specifically thinking about ooh, that's a dead disruptor there. I guess I'm specifically thinking of players who will go and another dead High Templar there. hero, that storm doesn't land. So he just lost 2 High Templars into disruptor, and he's gonna lose this base. I think. It's a nice storm though. I guess I'm talking about players that are, when I think about it, I think about players that are on the highest level. But, you know, if you say most aggressive professional player, yes, Haas. 100%. Most successfully aggressive aggressive pro is a different story, I guess. But this pressure from TY right now is kind of scary here. He's maxed out. He's got 2-2. Disruptor is not going to land. Kite's left side, but I mean, Colossus range. Really hard to engage into that, but he's doing a good job. He's doing a great job of keeping hero distracted here. EMPs blanket this army, and this tank line that he's cutting back into is really nice, but Disruptors, they blow up so very much of it here. Zealots getting on top further and further, and hero just breaks through the Maginot line. I did not believe in that. I can't believe hero broke through that the way he did. That just felt so scary. He broke through like 7 tanks, like it was nothing. And now he's the one that can get aggressive on the map here. Now there's tanks and orbitals that were tanks and planetaries, so good luck breaking that high ground. But all of a sudden, this army that TY built for himself, off his 2-2, the 10 tanks or whatever it was, it's just not there anymore. And now we're looking at 4 tanks instead of 10. Ghost account is decent, but hero's maxed out. TY is not. And now the Zealots are going to run forward here. Disruptors, they kill the tank. They're actually plenty damage on the, well, oh, that's a decent Disruptor shot as well. And now the planetary, it's dead. Colossus from so far away, shelling away here. And hero, more Zealots warping in. 2-2 done, +3 attack just about done. Well, let's see, Stalkers bling on top of this base. Zealots on top as well. And a couple Zealots just on the left side buying time. So that's another dead base from TY. Down onto 3 bases here. 15 minutes in. His main, his natural are starting to mine out. So he's been playing very defensively. Like the entire point here is turtle TY. Making sure you survive as long as possible. Getting yourself to something. I'm not actually sure what his in-game composition is, but this is 4 factories from TY. He's building 4 tanks at a time, which is just insane. But now, Disruptor shots to get more of them here, and additional starports get added in, Fleet Beacon gets added in, +1 air, +1 shields, +3 grounded. Like, hero is rounding his tech out in a pretty significant way. And he's up bases. The Terran is on 3 bases, really, as this planetary seems very pushable now, especially with +3 on the Stalkers. Zealots, they're not going to be able to hold this position on the left side. So hero seems like he's going to trade a base for a base, but remember, hero has the entire left side. Actually, he's going to recall here. That's a bit awkward here. Bio's going to stim on top. What do they get? Colossus exposed at the front line, but they're not dying. He's not getting him. First Colossus now will fall down. Second one, you got to target it down here, TY. Now he gets it, but that is not cost effective at all. Disruptors, so many tanks here. It looks like this Nexus will finally fall, but I mean, that could have been so much better for TY. Instead, he loses a lot. He loses so much there. Like, the Colossus were just standing on top of the bio. You click them down in 2 seconds, and suddenly it's so much better. But even still, TY does get the base. And because I feel like I would have preferred to see just hero trade a base for a base. Take this one down. He got the planetary. But trade this base. Right? Because TY lost his 4th base. He lost his 5th base. So you force him to effectively go down to 2 bases briefly. That is a far better situation. But yeah, of course, these we've been talking about it all day, but these Colossus are the 10 range Colossus. Extended Thermal Lance was changed for some unknown reason. No one really knows why, what happened to 10 range or to +3 range instead of +2. Which again, I'm a fan of. I think it really does a lot to help Protoss in the matchup they really needed help with. As hero is just straight. Oh, he's dealing with. Oh, okay, Zealots on the right side killing tanks. Not microing the Stalkers, though. A little bit awkward as this Zealot run by got like 5 tanks. I think he's actually going to get a couple SCVs here as well. So the economy here at TY is rough. He's only on 50 workers now, and he scans bottom side. It's like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I got the north side base. I thought I'd equalized a little bit. But, we'll see. There's a couple disruptors here. That's a free tank. There we go. Bob. Oh, never mind. They try to kill Bio instead of the tank, and that means the disruptor will go down here. But this pressure from TY, you know what? His army right now is really solid. 332, 113 army supply. His economy's not great. It really isn't. But he still has, you know, his production is still in his army supply is still in a pretty awesome spot. And most importantly here, he can hold the high ground. That is the high ground and low ground is a really hard spot for the Protoss to hold on to, especially once the rocks go down. The Terran can kind of sweep in from multiple angles. But hero is setting up his own counterattack here, his own flank. Stalkers, Zealous, Disruptors on the north side, but TY is going to pull the trigger here. That's a dead Disruptor. Second one, that gets targeted down here as well. So hero just loses so much, down 40 army supply. His run by, that's a little bit more effective though. He's going to find his way into the main base. The natural tanks continue to go down here. And the interesting thing is every time hero like thinks about going into the late, or not even in the late game, thinks about going into the Stargate play. He's got a fleet beacon. He's sitting on, I want to say, 2 Stargates. He's got upgrades for it. He can't quite get there. He takes just enough damage. He fights just enough that he can't really afford it. And he's going Tempests. Huh. Tempest play against... I guess it's decent against tanks. But, generally, you feel like carriers are better here. Tempests are specifically against things like Liberators. But in fairness, Tempests are cheaper and they are faster. So maybe that is going to be the play here. This position from TY is rapidly becoming kind of hard for hero to deal with. All the missile turrets, everything else. I mean, this is a Brood War hard siege. And on the low ground, they're going to go. Rocks aren't down, so it's so hard for hero to take this fight. Disruptor, kill the tank. I mean, I understand that we're looking here at 12 tanks on the map, but even still, that being said, Tempests are out now. And with that long range, they can start to really make this defense hard, or make this defense a lot easier. Tank will go down. Disruptor, well, it's going to get enough of the Marines. That means the Tempest will be able to kill the rest. And rapidly, we're finding ourselves up to 5 Tempests, which is the magic number generally. Maybe you want to get 6 or 7 just for a little bit of leeway, but 5 Tempests are where you one-shot a lot of things. You one-shot Vikings, you one-shot Medivacs. I think you one-shot tanks with that one as well. And wait, okay, no, that's just the orbital. Okay, orbital floated on over. Like, did the orbital just die there? But no, it didn't. Okay, pretty sure. Yeah, okay, the orbital did not go down. Here comes the pressure from hero once again, finally maxed out here, up 20 army supply. And with these +1 Tempests, I mean, this is just long-range poke, long-range shelling. The tanks are not nearly as powerful as they once were. So take a look at the range here. Disruptor shot moves forward, and this slow push coming in from hero is a really powerful thing. Disruptor shots just get more tanks there. And now 8 tanks, 6 Tempests. Again, you have that 1 extra Tempest, just a buffer to make sure that even if you lose one, you can still get the 1 shots that you want. And we are, of course, missing Tectonic Destabilizers. Doesn't kill structures all that well, but it does kill the tanks. And that really is all that matters here. So here comes the Zealots. They're going to run forward. A random Disruptor forward here as well, which is not what you want, hero. But it feels like an unassailable position between the natural, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, all that fun things, the Tempests. They're just they're hard to stem on top of. Disruptor shots going on top of everything here. It's all exploded. Widowmine's carpet bomb on the Tempests, and they're actually just not going to kill anything. The Tempests, they stand strong. TY is dead all of a sudden here. TY falls. Hero moves on. He's got a date with Dark to move on to the round of 4.